Hi everybody, I'd like to welcome you back to my exclusive interview with Guardians of the Galaxy star Vin Diesel. Now Vin, some people say that you're a bad actor, and I would have to agree with them. Now, why would I say something like that?
I am Groot. It's crazy. I mean, how they going? Did they pull?
Okay. Well, this has been an incredible waste of time. Thank you.
I am Groot.
Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. It's finally here, the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie of the year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That's right, the follow-up to the very popular Guardians of the Galaxy is here. I was a big fan of the first one, like everybody, so how does the second one stand up? What did I like? What did I dislike? Let's find out! So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is brought to us once again by James Gunn, who did the first Guardians movie, as well as some awesome movies like Super and Slither. So the general plot of Guardians is after the first movie, they've become pretty famous for saving the galaxy, that is. So people have been hiring them to be kind of like heroes for hire in a sense. And one of their contracts goes a little awry. It may or may not have something to do with Rocket Raccoon. But they find themselves coming into direct contact with Star-Lord's very unique parentage. Without getting into too many spoilers, that's pretty much the general plot of Volume 2. So let's talk about the characters that are involved. So we got, of course, our returning Guardians. We'll start with Star-Lord, played by Chris Pratt, who was kind of the main focus of the first one, and again, is the focus of this movie, because we're finding about who his father is and what that's all about. He's got some great comedic moments and dramatic moments. Chris Pratt really hits it out of the park, as well as showing his sweet abs again. And so he might be up for a Kapow Award later this year. We'll find out. But Chris Pratt does a fantastic job. I really loved what he did in this movie, and no complaints from Chris Pratt. So we got Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, who doesn't quite get into the warrioress kind of mode like she is in the comics. She's really seen as a big, warrior woman and things like that. They don't quite get into that moment, but she does have some great action scenes as well as some great moments with Nebula, who of course is her sister, and they're both raised by Thanos and how that worked and kind of her damage there. So some really good moments with Gamora on the dramatic side. I would have liked to seen some more action, but she did have some awesome action scenes as well. And we got Drax, played by Dave Bautista. He probably has the least amount of character development. In the first movie, he was really seen as, had a dark side. He was after, Ronan because he killed his family. And I guess since Ronan's gone now, he's like happy, but that doesn't quite fit. He does mention his family a few times. But, he's kind of turned into another comic relief, and it's almost too much. So we'll have to kind of see where they went with that, because I'm not sure if he would work also as being sad and dramatic again through this movie. So I don't know. They definitely went more to the comedic side this time rather than the dramatic. I felt the last movie balanced it a little bit more. But there you go. I don't know. He doesn't really have much of a plot for himself. He's kind of there. He's not really developed more. Then we got Rocket Raccoon, voiced once again by Bradley Cooper. Rocket, you get to see a lot more of, kind of, not see his past, but you hear a little bit more deeper into his past and like a little bit more of his psyche and how he's working with a team, but he's more feels like a lone gun still and how that works. And he has some really good moments. Of course, he does some great comic relief stuff. Yeah, he's very solid. I like what Rocket did a lot. Very cool stuff. No complaints for Rocket. He's good. Then we got Baby Groot, right there, voiced again by Vin Diesel. So, I think he was too much. I think he was too precious. He didn't really add a lot to the plot. To be honest, and you'll probably get all my hate comments, but I didn't really care for Baby Groot. Sorry. It was too precious, is the only way to put it. I had some girls behind me going, oh, like every time he is on screen, and it was too precious. I didn't really care for Baby Groot. Sorry. Groot in the first movie had some really awesome moments. I didn't feel like Baby Groot did anything this time. So outside of our normal Guardians, we have a couple returning characters. Yondu, played once again by Michael Rooker, and he is amazing. He absolutely makes this movie for me. He had so many good moments. You really developed what his character is and what he's about and how he interacts with Star-Lord. He's so great. I absolutely loved Yondu in this movie. He totally makes this movie for me. Thumbs up for Michael Rooker. So good. Absolutely loved Yondu in this movie. So be prepared when you see this to love Yondu, because you're going to love Yondu. So last returning character I'm going to mention, which I kind of have to because Violet Cause would be very remiss if I did not mention Nebula, played once again by Karen Gillan. She does a great job. Some great action scenes, some great moments with Gamora. Really plays the deadpan assassin. Like, you don't know what she's all about. I really liked what Nebula did. She was very solid. Thumbs up for her. Good stuff, good stuff. So we got a few new characters that I'd like to mention and talk about. So first we got Aisha, played by Elizabeth Debicki. I've never seen this actress in anything else. She's been in a few things I just haven't seen. She plays like genetically altered being, like she's supposed to be kind of perfect, and she's part of the planet who we catch the Guardians at the beginning helping out, and of course is very angry with how they helped. I like to mention her because I feel like she's going to be a big deal in Volume 3. Not too much spoilers, but I think she's going to be in Volume 3. She was very awesome. I love the makeup job they did on her, and she is very threatening and pretty awesome. I really like what she did. No complaints for her whatsoever. She plays like this perfect, yet kind of angry character. I really liked her. Good stuff. And we got Mantis, played by Palm Kiltef. She's awesome. So she is basically raised by Kurt Russell's character and really has no interaction with people and doesn't know how to interact with people. So she plays a very innocent character, which I really liked, and she's also an empath, so she can feel your feelings as well as change your emotions and your feelings. And I liked what they did with that character. I think she's also going to be in Volume 3, and I think she'd be a great addition to the team. What she did was very believable. I really liked her character. It added a lot to the movie. Again, thumbs up for her. Very awesome. And finally, we have Kurt Russell, who plays... And I really can't talk about his character too much without getting into spoiler territory. I'd just like to say Kurt Russell did an awesome job. I loved everything he did. He's always good in everything he is, but in this one specifically, great job. Well done, Kurt Russell. Props all around. Props all around. So that's enough characters. What worked well about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Well, if you knew anything about it being developed and what it's about, it does involve Ego the Living Planet. Hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler, and I won't talk too much about him, but how they handled the idea of a giant head that's the size of a planet that floats through space. How they handled that was amazing. Really, it was just masterful. How it works and the way it's explained is so great. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I just want to say how they handled it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And the other thing that I really loved about this movie is the character development all over. Every character outside of Drax has, some good character moments, and they're really developed. We get to see more of their past. They all have a good comedic moment and great dramatic moments. It's just a very well-made character piece and just very awesome. I loved what they did, and it's definitely got the feels to it. I was tearing up a few times. Now, the first one had me tearing up when Groot sacrificed himself, and I was really mad that a tree made me cry. And this movie, of course, has me tearing up again. It's just really well done again, and yeah, there's some very many feels in this movie. All the feels are in this movie, for sure. On top of the feels, though, we also got the comedy. This movie has some great levity. Of course, that's brought over from the first movie, but the jokes hit, pretty much most of the time, but it's not overbearing. It's still an action sci-fi movie, but they definitely have enough levity in it to make you keep going, to break up the serious moments. They don't feel out of place, but they're also not too taken over. It's a very great balance with the comedy, and the comedy they do is hilarious. It's just all well done. So yeah, the comedy, so good. Very funny movie. On top of the comedy, we also got all the little characters and nods and cameos and Easter eggs. I won't mention them here, but they're all very solid. Some of them had me very excited. But yeah, those were all great, of course. All Marvel movies have their Easter eggs, but this one has a ton of them, and they're great and very awesome. And the last thing I'd like to mention that I really liked about this movie in general is just the overall plot. Just the way the story moves and what it's about and what it deals with is so good. It's just really well done, and a lot of the script is fantastic. Just overall, it's a very, very solid movie, and I had a lot of fun with it. So no movie is perfect, and where does Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 fail? Well, of course, the one thing they made a big deal in the first one and this one, of course, is the music. And I feel the music choices in this movie are lacking. The use of Brandy was solid, but I feel like everything else, it just wasn't as good. They just weren't as good as songs, in my opinion. I don't see the soundtrack for this one being such a big deal as the soundtrack for the last one. I just don't feel like the song choices were as good in this one, so there's that. And I mentioned it before, but another problem I had is Baby Groot, again, just overused. He's just a punchline to jokes constantly. He doesn't add anything to the plot. He's too precious. It's just too much. I think they overused Baby Groot way too much. Tried to do too many cute moments with him. He had too many, cute, funny moments. And it was just a little overbearing at a point. So, yeah, Baby Groot, I had some major problems with. And the last complaint, something I really noticed was Rocket's inventions were very convenient this time. Last movie you saw him always building stuff, and that's kind of his thing. But this time he's just walking and throwing together things, and bam, here's a bomb. Here's a spacesuit, and when he runs out of gadgets, it's very convenient, and all his gadgets, the way they work, are very convenient. It's all just very convenient. It feels like Donatello in the second Ninja Turtles movie, where he just happens to have this invention that's perfect for this moment and things like that, and it's just a little too convenient for me. I'm sorry, just gotta be honest. But enough of the bad things. Let's get to some spoilers, because I had a lot of fun and I want to talk spoilers. So as per usual, jump to this time code for spoilers, because we're talking spoilers now, and we're doing it. You ready? Spoiler time. So I really want to talk about Ego. I loved what they did with Ego and how Kurt Russell is Ego, but Ego's also the planet. As well as there's a really cool nod where you see a face on the planet. And I'm like, it is kind of like Ego. But anyways, the way it works, that's like how he's a celestial that kind of willed himself into being and kind of built things around him and then used avatars of himself to be able to experience people. It was great. And I think internet celebrity Nick Mason mentioned that that was his theory about how Ego is his father, is that he creates avatars. And yeah, he's right. So that was kind of cool. But really how Ego worked was so good. It felt very organic and not silly like a giant living planet could be. And, you know, what Kurt Russell did and how, you know, menacing he is when you find out, you know, how that he's the villain. Some really cool stuff. I really liked what they did there. Some awesome things. Minor spoiler is I was right in some of my predictions. So go me. I'm awesome. So I predicted most of this movie was going to take place on Ego, and I was correct. So boom. Make sure you watch my my predictions when they come out, because apparently I'm very good at them. I wasn't right about everything, but I was right. Okay, so the after credits stinger was amazing. Let me tell you why. So we get the Cocoon with Adam Warlock in it. And this opens so many possibilities because there is a storyline where his character was initially known as him, and then he becomes Adam Warlock when he gets the Soul Gem. So is he going to be part of Infinity Wars? Because he really could be. He could be like a Thanos minion with the Soul Gem, or he could just be part of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If you don't know, Adam Warlock is a intergalactic super being that's, you know, got a whole bunch of powers and super strength and things like that. So it opens up a lot, and I'd love to see him in either one, or both Infinity Wars and Guardians Volume 3, but it just opened up so many possibilities. I was very excited. Gets me really pumped for what's coming up. I want to see what's going to happen there, but there's so many cool things that can happen. I was really, really excited. Along with that nod, the other nod I absolutely loved is, if you didn't know, a fan theory about Stan Lee in that he's in all the movies is that he's a watcher who's, a being who watches. And that was a fan theory going that that's why he's in all the movies, is that he's a watcher. And they totally confirm Stan Lee is a watcher. I don't know if he's Uatu the Watcher, who's kind of the main watcher, but he is a watcher. It's confirmed. It's awesome. I absolutely love that they did that. It's a great nod to fans, but it's also a cool little Easter egg. I was super excited when I saw that. I was like, yes, that is awesome. I'm so happy. Oh, man. Yeah, Stan Lee is a watcher. I'm so excited about that. I absolutely love that. So good. So good. The other cameos that I really like, Howard the Duck was a nice little nod. I like that a lot. In the last movie, we got to see Cosmo, who is a Russian space dog who has telekinetic powers, or telepathic powers. And, we see him in a cage in the collector's room, and then we see him, licking the collector at the end. But we only get a picture of him this time. And I wanted more Cosmo. I love Cosmos. He's so, Russian and Anthokosmosk, and, you bothers me, and he's got a real attitude. I love Cosmo in the comics. I wish I got more Cosmo. At least we got the picture, and I was a little happy about that, but more Cosmo would have been great. But yeah, seriously, all the really little nods open up so much in this universe. I'm so happy about that. So let's wrap this thing up. So obviously, I had a great time with Guardians of the Galaxy. It opened up the galactic universe. It didn't tie so much to what's going on Earth in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but that's to be expected. This is to expand the galactic universe and things out in space. And so I was really happy about that. They did some really cool things, some great characters, some great moments. I had a ton of fun with this. I loved it. So obviously, my rating for this is see it right now. Stop watching this video, let it play in the background, but stop watching this video and go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's so fun. It's fantastic. I absolutely loved this movie. I can't praise it enough. I had a ton of fun with it. It had some minor issues, but overall, so good. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So good. So I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.